Go ahead and make a turn here, take a jump, and yeah, that's it. That's oh, hey, I'm just vacationing to the Minecraft tutorial world sign. It's pretty cool. Anyways, today's video is about vanilla plus mods, and if you don't know what that means that there's basically going to be no guns or any silliness in today's video. They're basically mods that just kind of change the game a little bit in very much a way that Mojang would probably update the game in. So yeah, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more content from me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So in the intro, I said that these mods are vanilla plus, meaning that they're mods that could probably make it to the base game, except maybe this one. And this mod is called Friends and Foes, and what it does is it adds all of the mobs, or at least a lot of the mobs, that were never added to the game because they were not voted on in the mob vote. As you can see here, we have ourselves a Moo Bloom in the Flower Forest, and if I'm not mistaken, these actually add, yes, they do. They add a brand new flower called the Buttercup, which you can see right here, and I'm pretty sure just on the back of the Moo Bloom. But we also have a ton more mobs. So another thing that this mod does is it not only brings a bunch of the mobs that were never voted on in the mob vote, but it also brings some unique items with them. So here we have the 𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗠𝗘 cabin, which will be randomly generated. You can go inside, it'll have a bundle and some loot that the 𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗠𝗘 has himself. But if we go ahead and walk outside of this and actually go to the 𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗠𝗘, which is over here, and, you know, kind of cut his head off, maybe, you'll see that he actually drops a special item, and this is called the Totem of Freezing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab some zombie spawn eggs, and what I'm going to do is go over here, maybe go ahead and make it nighttime so the zombies don't burn up. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it into survival mode and get damaged by these guys really quick. And you'll notice that once I take damage after my health goes to half, the totem gets popped and actually slows the enemies that were attacking me down and gives me a huge speed bonus so that I can get away from whatever trouble I was in. Of course, it's not quite as good as the Totem of Undying, but what are you doing, buddy? Oh my gosh. You know, of course it's not as good as the Totem of Undying, but it is a pretty, you know, unique item that you can get from the 𝗍𝗍𝗔𝗠𝗘, and it does seem pretty cool. This mod has a ton of mobs in it, so I'm only going to show one more, and then we're going to move on to the other ones, because otherwise I could just make this an entire dedicated video. Okay, I just had to show this one off. So this mob right here is probably one of my favorites, and it is called the Wildfire. And it's basically kind of like a boss version of a blaze. And you'll notice that this mob has a very specific structure that is associated with it. And this is called a citadel. This is not a fortress. This is a citadel. And it's basically like one big open-ended dungeon that you can find yourself in with a bunch of blaze guards outside, but more importantly, the Wildfire in the middle. Now, if we go ahead and fight this Wildfire, also, this is my Blade of Doom, so it has like sharpness 255 on it. So I'm going to deal way more damage than you normally would. Okay, he kind of looks like a French fry. Go ahead and kill him. You'll actually notice that we get Wildfire crown fragments. You'll actually notice whenever, you know, we take a look at him, he's actually wearing a crown. Well, the cool thing about this crown is it actually is a piece of armor, very similar to the turtle shell, where it's like, you know, it's its own unique thing, but it doesn't have a set associated with it. And this is what it looks like whenever you wear it on your person. Well, let me go ahead and kill this guy so that he doesn't bother me whenever I go to survival. There we go. So you'll notice that I get myself 8 fire resistance, 8 seconds of fire resistance at all times. But if I actually touch lava, you'll notice that this will start counting down. So basically what this helmet does is it gives you fire resistance for 8 seconds whenever you start to touch lava. So if you fall into lava, you basically have 8 seconds to get to safety or whatever. And it's really cool. It's a very, very cool version of what the turtle shell is. And I'm honestly really beat up that the Wildfire isn't in vanilla Minecraft. It's super cool. What a beautiful day to see this ugly and useless mob. Well, that brings me to our next mod for today, because while we were on the topic of the mob vote, I figured that we go ahead and talk a little bit about these little guys, which are of course the sniffers, and they are known for being a very useless mob because all they really do is, well, give us some plants that don't really do anything. Well, with the glowing TORCHFLOWER mod, if I go ahead and set the time to midnight, you actually notice that whenever I hold a TORCHFLOWER, it illuminates light around me, and if I place it on the ground, it illuminates light in general, which is something that the base TORCHFLOWER does not do, despite it literally being called a TORCHFLOWER. This mod is fantastic and is something that I'm most definitely going to be running for like ever. I really like the idea of the sniffer and needing to bring a once extinct species into my world, you know, manually. They just don't spawn in general, and I have to go out of my way to make it happen. It's just that they're so underwhelming, but now that they can actually sniff up TORCHFLOWERs that can be used as actual torches, well, I think this mod is really cool and makes me want to actually go get sniffers. So if any of you guys know me, you know that I'm not really big on the automation side of Minecraft's farms. I kind of like the simplicity of doing things a little bit yourself, so I don't like things to be crazily automated whenever I play survival. Well, with the right-click harvest mod, that makes actually harvesting crops in this game a little less annoying if you are doing it manually, because as you guys can see, I can just right-click and harvest these crops and have them auto plant themselves whenever I do it. Now, you also notice that they're growing really fast because I have the tick rate set for really fast, but this is a super useful mod to use in survival if you're somebody that likes to do things manually. If you for some reason do think that the radius whenever you right click on your crops is a little too big, you can actually go to the mod menu and go to right click harvest and change it so that you can do harvest in radius to no, and then that way you can just right click on these and it'll do it just like this. Moving along to our next mod, if you're somebody that likes to be able to zoom in with the SPYGLASS, but you're not exactly a fan of regular zoom mods because, well, they don't really make that much sense, well, let me introduce you to SPYGLASS improvements. Now, as long as you have a SPYGLASS in your inventory, you can actually assign a hotkey to be able to use the SPYGLASS at any time. So for me, that is B. You'll notice that if you look at my hotbar that I do not have a SPYGLASS equipped down there, so you don't have to worry about it taking up an actual slot in your hotbar, and you can just associate a key with being able to use it, and it also gives the SPYGLASS zoom functionality as well. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's very similar to a zoom mod, but still encourages you to use the SPYGLASS, and it's not going to take up an annoying slot in your hotbar, then you can use SPYGLASS improvements. So I think we can all agree that Minecraft sorta has an inventory problem, and while this mod isn't going to completely fix that problem, it's going to make it a lot better. So this mod is called Easy Shulker Boxes, and this is what it does. So as you can see here, I have a purple shulker box with a bunch of items that I view as valuable. I'm gonna go ahead and break this shulker box and pick it up, and if I look at it inside my inventory, I can actually see what's inside of it without needing to place it down first, but that's not the good part. The good part is that I can actually use my mouse wheel to scroll through the list of items I have here and pick them out if I want to without needing to go through the annoying process of putting it in my hotbar, putting it on the floor, grabbing what I need, breaking it, and then picking it back up again. But I can also, if I want to, just add items back to the shulker box, again, all within my inventory. I can then take the shulker box, hold right click, and just lay all my items out. So let's say, for example, I'm building something and I need a lot of stone, I can just fill my inventory up with stone just like that super easily. And if I have items that I don't need in my inventory anymore, I can just hold right click and pick them right up with the shulker box, no problem. This works very similarly to how bundles are supposed to work, and in my opinion, this needs to be in the base game. It is super useful and definitely helps making dealing with inventory issues just so much better. Now, staying on the topic of the ELYTRA, let's go ahead and make our way to an in-city ship, go down to the bottom, and take out this shulker really quick. And hopefully he won't give me the levitation effect, and let's go ahead and grab ourselves a ELYTRA. Well, with this ELYTRA and with the customizable ELYTRA mod, we can do a few things with this ELYTRA. First and foremost, we can actually split the ELYTRA into individual ELYTRA wings that we can design if we want to. I'm not going to do that here because it just, I don't know, it's a little too well, it's not really complicated. I just really don't have the desire to. But what we can do is we can actually dye the ELYTRA as though it were, you know, leather armor, which I feel does make some sense and should probably be in vanilla by itself. But another thing that you can do is you can actually take the smithing table here. Let's go and grab our ELYTRA. We can go in ahead and slap it into the armor slot. We can then add our material, and then using our little shulker box mod here, we can go ahead and grab ourselves, oh, wrong button, the silence armor trim to put right there. And as you can see, oh man, this looks so sick. As you can see, we now have ourselves an armor trimmed elytra that we were able to dye beforehand. And I gotta be honest, this mod is so sick. I mean, it really brings forth the whole dye mechanic with leather armor to one of the best items in the game. And if I'm being honest, I'm not ever using leather armor. So having another item in the game, one that I'm going to use all of the time, that I can dye whatever color I want and then trim it on top of that, is just super cool. And with my red shirt on my skin, I think the red and gold elytra just looks absolutely amazing. And that's actually going to go ahead and segue us over to our next mod, which is something that I feel like not everybody is going to feel like they need, but it is kind of a nice quality of life change for those that want it. And it's actually just called Easy Elytra Takeoff. So if we go ahead and take our firework rocket, normally if you were to take off with an elytra, you would need to jump and then tap spacebar one more time and then use your elytra. But sometimes the timing can be tricky, especially for newer players. So with this mod, I can just look up and I can just right click and we are now flying with the elytra. This is a really cool mod just for those that might feel like they need it. I personally do not, but I figured that I would include it for those that would want it. Now, this is the last elytra mod, I promise. I just figured I'd go ahead and bundle these all together since, you know, that's kind of what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and get ourselves up in the sky so that we can actually see the world around us and we're not just in the boring end. And let's go ahead and press a certain key that is going to enable a mod called Do a Barrel Roll. And what this mod does is it makes using the elytra so much more fun. Instead of it being super stagnant and really stiff, it actually has a little bit of motion to it and kind of handles like you would expect a plane to handle if you were flying one. With this mod, I mean, you can do backflips if you want to, you can roll all around in the sky, and it is a super, super fun mod to mess around with. Maybe not in survival, because I feel like some people would probably get themselves killed if they were messing around with this in survival a little too much, but it still is a very, very fun mod. And if you have a big world, for example, just throwing yourself into creative and flying around your world at Mach 10 with this mod could just be a super fun time. And especially if you're looking for more immersive mods, this is one that will definitely get your immersion rolling once you're in the skies. Okay, finally back to some early game related mods. Let's go ahead and talk about Easy Anvils. Now this mod does quite a lot of stuff, so we'll just kind of go through it one by one. So the first thing that it does is it actually makes anvils hold an inventory. So as you'll see, I put these items into the anvil and they don't just pop out if I don't take them and put them back in my inventory. They'll actually sit here, which is really nice if you're planning on, let's say you have a sword and a sharpness 5 book, but you don't have enough levels at the time. You can just kind of leave it there and just come back whenever you're ready, and then you can do what you need to do. Another cool thing about this mod is actually whenever anvils get to a lower health, you don't have to actually make a completely new anvil if you don't want to. You can actually use blocks of iron and then shift and then right click on the anvil to bring it up one health stage until it's all the way back up to full. But I think my favorite thing whenever it comes to this actual mod is the fact that it adds the formatting codes to base Java edition. Now, if you don't know what that is, I can go ahead and put this diamond sword here, and we're gonna go in backspace, and I'm gonna put what's called a section sign, and then I'll just put, let's say, K. And then I can say, subscribe. Well, you can't see what that says because I did section sign K, and that is one of the formatting codes. So as you can see here, if we go up with this question mark, you'll see that if I put a section sign followed by one of any of these, that is the effect that it will have. So of course, if I wanted you to be able to actually read it, I could do section sign E and then type subscribe, which is, you know, something you should totally do. Now, if you're a Bedrock player, you probably already know about this because this is something that has been in Bedrock for a very very, very long time, but it's not something that is in the base edition of Java. So if you are somebody that is an ex-Bedrock player like myself and was wanting to have this as a feature, well, with this mod, you can, and it is super, super, super cool. And I don't know, I really like it. Some people might not think this is the biggest deal, but I really do think it's cool, especially whenever it comes to customizing some of your god gear that you're not going to be replacing for a very long time. All right, so for this next mod, I decided to get on my actual hardcore world, and it looks like it's just thunderstorming outside for some reason. Not sure why that is, but this next mod is actually called Better Than Mending. And what it does is it adds a quality of life feature to the mending enchantment, which, yeah, I know mending's kind of overpowered, but it is a time saver and some of you guys might actually enjoy it. So if I take a look at the 𝗁𝗂𝗕𝗏, you'll see that this is my axe with silk touch, efficiency, unbreaking, and mending on it. Well, if I want to actually repair the 𝗁𝗂𝗕𝗏, I either need to run around killing mobs with it so that I can get their XP to mend it, or I need to go to like an XP farm and just sit there and waste a bunch of my time for no reason. Well, if you take a look at my XP bar, I have 22 perfectly fine levels in my inventory, so why can't I use them? Well, with this mod, if I go ahead and crouch and then right click, you'll notice that I actually use up XP in my XP bar to mend my axe. And it is pretty costly, as you'll see, but it allows me to save on time of just doing super monotonous tasks that, well, let's be honest, don't really make Minecraft. Did that? It did. The lightning literally struck right over here. I said, what the? Bro, are you trying to burn down my city? What is going on? Don't do that. It's super bad. What is with all this? Okay, there we go. That should stop the assault on my brand new town that I literally just built not too long ago. Hopefully nothing burns down. But yeah, as I was saying, it just doesn't really make Minecraft any more fun by needing to stop immediately what you're doing and going to an XP grinder and sitting there forever to get all the XP you need if you already have XP on your person. So this makes it a lot more intuitive to use the mending enchantment and makes things a little bit less boring in the in-between stages once your tools get damaged. Now for the next mod for today's video, I went ahead and moved on over to my copy of the hardcore world so I can show this off. We have what is called easy magic. Now this is going to affect the enchanting table, and I'm going to go and show you guys a few of the effects that it has. The first thing is, just like with the easy anvils mod, the enchanting table now has an inventory. So you actually notice that the lapis that I put inside of it is actually just going to stay there, meaning that you don't have to bring lapis with you every single time you want to go enchant. It'll actually sit here, and then whenever you use it all up, you can replace it, and it has this really cool animation. This is also going to apply to anything that you put in the enchanting table. So from afar, you're not going to be able to see it, but whenever I walk up, it actually pops right out of the book, and you can see that we are enchanting the mace. Now, if I go ahead and take these bottles of enchanting and just kind of spam a few of them on the ground really quick, there we go. You'll actually notice that if I open this up and I take a look at the enchantments, and I'm like, man, Unbreaking 3, that's kind of mid. Well, what I can do is I can actually go to the reroll enchantments button, and I can reroll the enchantments to see if I can get anything better. And if I do this for a little bit longer, you'll see that I end up getting density 4. Now, I kind of like this feature and I kind of don't. I feel like the reroll enchantment button should take a full level of your experience, because it does feel like it makes the game a bit easier, you know, instead of needing to lose an entire level. But I do like it for the fact that you don't need to like have some random wooden pickaxe that you enchant with level 1 and then grindstone it and then come back and then enchant, blah, blah, blah. It definitely makes that a little bit less monotonous, just being able to hit this reroll button here. But I do feel like it takes a little too little experience. But I do like this mod a lot. I really like what it does, and it's honestly worth it for this lapis lazuli right here just sitting in the inventory alone. So have you guys ever seen those videos online of those cave explorers, and they just find themselves in really messed up situations, but like on purpose, you know what I mean? Like they really just want to crawl into these really tiny spots and document them and explore them for whatever reason, like they've never seen a rock before. Well, if you've been playing Minecraft long enough, you know that you can do this in the base game. You just take a little trapdoor, you get next to it, you flip it, and you are now on the ground, and you can explore inside of these really tight spaces. Well, It's kind of like an official, unofficial feature of Minecraft, because in the base game, you know, you can do that and stuff, but it kind of has the swimming animation and it looks really silly, and you can't do it without a trapdoor, which just makes it really weird and unintuitive. Well, with this mod, which is called Crawl, you have a dedicated crawl button. And not only do you have a dedicated crawl button, you actually have dedicated crawl animations that don't look like swimming. So if you're ever exploring in a cave and you see that there's a really tiny gap and you don't want to mine through it, you can just hit the crawl button and crawl down under. I don't really think that this is too far off from the vanilla experience, seeing as the only thing separating you from being able to crawl normally is just slapping a trapdoor down for whatever reason and then flipping it on your head. It just always seemed really silly to me that you had to do this to be able to crawl, so having a dedicated crawl button is pretty sick. In my last video about Minecraft mods, I ended up featuring a mod called Better Third Person. Well, a lot of you guys in the comments made sure to tell me that there's actually a better third person mod, which is kind of funny. And it's called Shoulder Surfing Reloaded, which is a pretty drastic name. And basically what it does is this looks super cool. And this, in my opinion, is honestly better than the Better Third Person mod, and is definitely better than the traditional third person that we find in Minecraft. I mean, you can change this kind of camera to be exactly how you want. I mean, there is so much customization with this thing. You can make it as close as you want, more to the left, more to the right. You can even swap shoulders around if you would like to. It is super, super cool. And especially if you're exploring in places or you would like to do Minecraft combat, I mean, it just is such a better view for that kind of stuff than your traditional version of the third person. And yeah, this mod is really cool. You guys definitely cooked in the comment section, and if you guys have any more recommendations, I mean, honestly, just really let me know, because yeah, this one is awesome and I absolutely love it. For the next mod of the video, I'm going to put you guys on. Now, in the past, I have used item frame mods that basically allow you to place... Actually, I think I still have it installed. If I go and take a look, I can show you. Instead of just saying it, I can just show you. You can put an item frame down. You can put an item in the item frame, and then you can right-click... let me shift and right click the item frame, and then you actually have the item displayed without the item frame being there. And if you ever want to find the item frame just in case you lose where it is, you can pull it out and there you go. Now, I featured this in my client side mods video, and I really do like this mod. I truly do, but I think I found one that's a little bit better just the other day, and that mod is called Item Placer. As you'll notice, these are much bigger than what they would traditionally look like in an item frame. If I walk over here and go ahead and grab this sword and then put it in an item frame, oh, there's invisible item frames over there. If I put it in the item frame and then go ahead and crouch and then right click it, you'll notice that, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's not exactly 3D. It's not exactly popping out. It kind of just looks really flat up against the wall. Well, with Item Placer, I can walk up to the wall and then press a designated button to put it on there. And then I can also use my scroll wheel to move how exactly it is put on the wall. And I mean, you can put these anywhere. I mean, I could put a hoe on the ceiling. I could literally just item place an item frame if I really wanted to. And if I actually come out here, I mean, this would look way better if it weren't in an item frame, and instead we're just placed on the wall like a proper clock. I mean, if you look at it from the side too, you can actually see it coming off of the wall. It looks really, really, really nice. And Item Placer is genuinely one of the coolest mods I've ever installed. Super, super good whenever it comes to decorating your places. Now, of course, all good things must come to an end, so we are now finally at our last Vanilla Plus mod for the video, and it is called Cycle Paintings. If you place a painting down, it can be pretty frustrating to get the specific painting you want, because you have to deal with the fact that, well, maybe it's just never gonna happen. I mean, it's complete RNG, it's completely random, and it can be pretty annoying. Well, with Cycle Paintings, you can actually place the painting down and then right click on it to get all the different versions of whatever size the painting ended up being. And it works with any size. So if I go and get a bigger size like this, for example, well, this is the only size painting, or that was the only painting in that size. But as you can see, once we get one of these bigger ones, I can just right click on it and actually cycle through all the paintings, which is super nice. If you're in creative, it doesn't really matter because the creative inventory has very specific paintings. But if you are in survival and you want a very specific painting, then this mod is just a godsend to make it that much easier. And I'm going to be honest, is that how it looks by default? That has to be a mod I have installed. That looks very strange. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Those are 15 Vanilla Plus mods for Minecraft 1.21. Make sure to leave your suggestions in the comments down below if you'd like me to make another one of these videos, and let me know which one of these mods you installed to your actual game. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.